Let me ask you something. What happens when the best player on the planet, a man who is simultaneously chasing the Cy Young Award and the MVP, a man who has posted a 1.79 ERA while also hitting .290 with 21 home runs, suddenly can't take the mound? What happens when the injury isn't a surprise, but something that has been quietly building for weeks, and the team has been managing it in secret, hoping it wouldn't reach this point? That is exactly where we find ourselves right now with Shohei Ohtani. The Los Angeles Dodgers have confirmed that Ohtani will skip his pitching start against the Arizona Diamondbacks, will miss the 2026 All-Star Game, and will have his left knee drained and injected after Sunday's game. And behind closed doors, the concern is far deeper than what the official statements suggest. This isn't just an inconvenience. This is a warning sign, and the baseball world needs to pay very close attention. So let's start from the beginning. What exactly happened here, and why is this more serious than the Dodgers are letting on? The first thing to understand is that this injury didn't appear overnight. Ohtani was removed from a game against the Pittsburgh Pirates on June 11th because of inflammation in his left knee. At the time, the Dodgers gave him a single day off and sent him back into the lineup. No alarm bells were publicly rung. But the numbers tell a different story entirely. In his first 10 starts this season, Ohtani gave up just 5 runs. Then, in the 4 starts that followed the initial knee flare-up, he allowed 12 earned runs in just 24 2/3 innings. That's not a coincidence. That's the body of a two-way player compensating, adjusting, and slowly breaking down under the weight of a workload that no human being has ever attempted at this level before. And what makes this even more troubling is what Ohtani himself admitted. He said the knee doesn't bother him at the plate, he can hit without issue. But the moment he pitches, everything changes. His landing mechanics shift. He compensates in the way he comes down the slope of the mound. And when you compensate for one part of the body, other parts absorb that stress. That chain reaction is exactly what every pitching coach and team physician fears most. It means the left knee isn't just a left knee problem anymore. It becomes a hip problem, a lower back problem, an elbow problem waiting to happen. From a pitcher's standpoint, this is genuinely alarming to hear. The landing leg is everything in pitching mechanics. It's where all the force generated from the lower half is transferred up through the core and out to the arm. When Ohtani says his landing has changed, what he's really saying is that his entire delivery has been compromised for weeks. And yet he was still going out there and competing. That tells you something about his character. But character alone can't protect a joint that is inflamed, filled with fluid, and being pushed through a 6-man rotation schedule. What did you make of the decision to finally shut him down from pitching before the All-Star break? Honestly, it was the right call, but it probably came a few weeks too late. Dave Roberts said before Friday's game that the team has been managing the knee well, and that they want to be proactive about draining it and giving it proper rest. That's the correct approach now. But proactive would have meant addressing this more aggressively after the June 11th incident. Instead, Ohtani made 3 more starts while the knee, by his own description, was going up and down, flaring and calming, never truly healing. The fact that his ERA ballooned during that exact stretch is not a statistical blip. It is direct, measurable evidence of what a compromised landing leg does to a pitcher of his caliber. Now here's what concerns me even more. This isn't a brand new knee. Ohtani had surgery on this exact knee back in September 2019 when he was still with the Angels. The procedure was performed to address a congenital condition called bipartite patella, a condition where the kneecap is formed in 2 separate pieces instead of one, which can cause chronic irritation, inflammation, and instability under heavy physical load. Surgery was supposed to resolve the issue permanently. The fact that the same symptoms have returned in 2026, at age 32, in the most demanding two-way season any player has ever attempted, is not a small detail. It is a deeply concerning development that changes the entire conversation around Ohtani's long-term health. From a medical standpoint, a bipartite patella that continues to flare up after surgery raises serious questions. The procedure he is having now, draining the fluid and receiving an injection, is a management tool, not a cure. It relieves the immediate pressure and pain, but it does not address whatever underlying instability or irritation is causing the fluid to build up in the first place. Roberts said the team doesn't expect this to affect Ohtani's availability as a pitcher in the second half of the season. And maybe he's right. Maybe the rest during the All-Star break, combined with the procedure, will reset everything and Ohtani comes back firing in the second half. But the Dodgers also have a pattern of being cautiously optimistic in public while managing a much more fragile situation behind the scenes. And what about the Cy Young Award race? Because this injury doesn't just affect Ohtani's health, it directly threatens his place in one of the most competitive award races in recent memory. This is where it gets painful for Ohtani and his supporters. Going into the All-Star break, he holds a 1.79 ERA and an 8-2 record. Those numbers are extraordinary. But he has only logged 85 2/3 innings, which ranks him 85th in the majors. He does not currently qualify for the ERA title. For the Cy Young Award, innings pitched is not a minor footnote, it is one of the primary benchmarks voters use to evaluate durability and value. Competitors like Jacob Misiorowski of the Brewers are accumulating innings at a traditional pace. Phillies pitchers are doing the same. Ohtani, by contrast, is working within a 6-man rotation specifically designed to protect him as a two-way player. That already puts him behind. And now, with a month lost or effectively reduced from his pitching schedule due to the knee, the innings gap could become insurmountable. What I want to address is the bigger picture here, because many fans are looking at the surface, missed start, knee drainage, injection, back after the break, and thinking this will resolve itself cleanly. I don't think that's a guarantee. Ohtani himself said something telling in his press conference. He said the discomfort around the kneecap has limited his range of motion, that it has been going up and down for weeks, and that some days are better than others. That is not the description of a minor nuisance. That is the description of a chronic condition being managed on a day-to-day basis at the highest level of professional baseball. Roberts said plainly that October is the priority. Not the All-Star game. Not the regular season record. October. And if you read between the lines of that statement, what you understand is that the Dodgers are already thinking about how to preserve Ohtani for the postseason. Which means the second half of the regular season, including the Cy Young chase, may be secondary to simply keeping him healthy enough to pitch in October. That trade-off is completely understandable from a team perspective. The Dodgers are the two-time defending World Series champions. They are 61-33. They are chasing a three-peat. Ohtani's health matters far more than any individual award. But from Ohtani's perspective, this has to sting. He came into 2026 with a specific mission, to prove that a two-way player could win the Cy Young Award. He has been extraordinary. His ERA in the 1.00s before the knee deteriorated his performance was a historical achievement. And now, through no failure of will or preparation, his body is presenting him with a challenge that may cost him the very thing he worked so hard to achieve. What remains to be seen is how well he responds after the break. If the procedure works, if the knee stabilizes, and if he can return to his first half form, posting 6-inning outings with an ERA around 1.50, then the Cy Young conversation is very much alive. But if the knee continues to flare, if he continues to compensate in his delivery, and if his effectiveness as a pitcher remains diminished, then we may look back at this All-Star break as the moment Ohtani's 2026 pitching season quietly began to unravel. The true measure of Shohei Ohtani has never just been what he does when everything is perfect. It has always been what he does when the circumstances conspire against him. He has survived 2 Tommy John surgeries. He has come back from a shoulder injury. He has pitched through discomfort that would sideline most players for months. But even the most remarkable athlete in baseball history cannot simply will away a chronic congenital knee condition that is flaring under the most demanding workload in the sport. The second half of 2026 will tell us everything we need to know, not just about whether Ohtani wins the Cy Young Award, but about how many more seasons we can expect this version of Shohei Ohtani to exist. Right now, all of baseball is watching. And all of baseball is holding its breath.